breaking news tonight. Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy.
The music world is literally shaking with this shocking news. Our once mighty hip-hop king, the man who had it all, is now living through what can only be described as an absolute nightmare. Here's the tea. Diddy was just rushed to the hospital from Brooklyn's notorious Metropolitan Detention Center, and let me tell you, honey, this is not your regular hospital visit. The whole thing happened under the cover of darkness, which has everyone's alarm bells ringing. I mean, seriously, what could be so serious that it needed this kind of cloak and dagger treatment?
That's where Diddy has been for months now, but last week he was taken to the hospital. According to reports from the New York Post, Diddy was transported from MDC in the cover of darkness at about 10 p.m. on January 30th. He was taken to a Brooklyn hospital for an MRI after reporting issues with his knee.
Now let me spill what they're officially telling us, but trust me, there's so much more to this story. According to the official reports, and I'm using air quotes here, Diddy was whisked away to Brooklyn Hospital Center for, get this, a knee MRI. They're claiming it's related to some old injuries, including a marathon he ran way back in 2003. But honey, let me tell you why this isn't adding up. Why on earth would they need to do this in the dead of night? They're saying it was to avoid attention from other inmates and staff, but please, since when does a simple knee scan require all this drama? Something's not right here, and I can feel it in my bones.
Apparently, Diddy's knee has been bothering him recently, so he reported it. At some point, it was decided that he needed medical care outside of the jail, so he was taken to a Brooklyn hospital.
And let's talk about Diddy's health history, because this story gets even juicier. Our boy has been through the medical ringer, darling. Back in 2020, he dropped the bombshell that he'd had 4 surgeries in just 2 years. We're talking rotator cuffs, knee replacement, quad issues, the works. He tried to play it off on social media, calling himself clumsy and saying it was God's way of slowing him down. But now, the transformation is shocking. The weight loss, the graying hair, that fragile look in his eyes. I'm telling you, something's happening behind those prison walls, and it's not pretty.
After that initial review of his current medical situation during his physical, and then there's follow-up to that process if there's something found, immediately. But, you have to understand, daily, there are medical staff walking through the units, doing what we call sit call and asking inmates, are they okay? And then you have folks that are walking around passing out meds.
Let me paint you a picture of where Diddy's been living since his arrest last year, and trust me, it's absolutely horrifying. The Metropolitan Detention Center isn't just any prison. It's literally being called hell on earth. We're talking overcrowding, disgusting conditions, violence everywhere you turn, and get this, some of our other famous faces like R. Kelly and Ghislaine Maxwell have done time there, and the stories they tell would make your skin crawl. Picture this, maggots crawling through the food. I literally just got chills. Freezing temperatures that would make the Arctic feel tropical, and lockdowns that keep you trapped in your cell for days on end. Can you imagine what this is doing to someone like Diddy, who used to live in pure luxury?
He'd go out in his institutional jumpsuit. He would be handcuffed, leg irons, and what we call a Martin chain, which is the waist, the chains around your waist, handcuffs, and then what we call a black box. That would be a little mechanism that would go over the handcuffs to make sure that he is not moving around necessarily. And I'm almost certain that they probably had.
And hold on to your seats, because this story gets even more twisted. There are whispers, and I mean serious whispers, floating around about what's really going down inside those prison walls. Some people are saying Diddy might have gotten into it with other inmates, ending up hurt enough to need medical attention. Now his people are rushing to shut these rumors down, but let's be real. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And can we talk about the pressure this man is under? Between fighting these massive legal battles and trying to survive in what's basically a concrete jungle, I'm honestly shocked he's holding up at all.
I mean, inmates have procedures all the time. I mean, you have folks there with cancer, you have folks there with, serious other chronic diseases. And sometimes it does require individuals to have surgery even while they're on pretrial status.
But wait, because this next part is absolutely mind-blowing. The real bombshell? There are some super hush-hush reports about secret interrogations going down. Word on the street is that federal agents are putting the squeeze on Diddy about some very interesting video recordings. And when I say interesting, I mean potentially career-ending. These aren't just any tapes, darling. We're talking about footage from Diddy's legendary parties, the kind where the rich and famous just let their guards down completely. If these blackmail tapes actually exist, oh honey, some of the biggest names in the game are probably shaking in their designer boots right now.
Incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent until proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent until proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent till proven guilty.
Now, let me tell you about what's happened to Diddy's appearance, because it's absolutely heartbreaking. Remember the man who used to light up every red carpet, who practically invented swagger? Well, the person who showed up in court recently was barely recognizable. Elizabeth Milner, a journalist who saw him with her own eyes, couldn't believe the transformation. His signature confidence, gone. That larger-than-life presence, vanished. He's lost so much weight, his hair's gone gray, and honestly, some people are wondering if he'll even make it to his trial in May. It's like watching a completely different person.
Legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes, and sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
But here's where things get really serious, and I mean really serious. Some people are convinced there's a major health crisis being covered up. Think about it. The sudden weight loss, that ghostly pale complexion, and this mysterious midnight hospital run. Something's not adding up, and it's making everyone nervous. If it was really just about a knee problem, why all the secrecy? Why aren't his people addressing these rumors head on? The silence is deafening, and it's only making people more suspicious about what's really going on.
That with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
And let me tell you something even more shocking. There are people wondering if this whole situation isn't just some massive conspiracy. I mean, think about it. Here's Diddy, one of the most powerful figures in music with more money and connections than most of us could ever imagine, and suddenly everything starts falling apart? The timing of his arrest, these brutal prison conditions, and now these mysterious health issues, it almost feels too perfectly orchestrated, doesn't it? Some insiders are even suggesting that this hospital visit might have been part of some elaborate scheme to squeeze information out of him. I know it sounds wild, but in this industry, nothing's impossible. Now sure, there are people close to Diddy trying to calm everyone down, saying he's doing just fine, staying focused on his defense and keeping his spirits up. But between you and me, how much of that is real and how much is just damage control? Because honestly, the stories coming out of that prison paint a completely different picture.
By everything, they're going to try to transfer him, they're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
The big question on everyone's mind right now is devastating. Will Diddy even make it to his court date? I mean, look at everything that's happening. His health is going downhill, he's stuck in these horrible prison conditions, and the legal pressure just keeps mounting. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck. Could this really be the end of one of music's biggest icons? Or does our boy Diddy have some surprises left up his sleeve? Only time will tell, but let me tell you, this story gets more twisted by the day.
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes,
new.
there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
Now hold on to your seats, because this next theory is absolutely explosive. Some people are saying that what's happening to Diddy isn't just about the charges he's facing. It's about keeping him quiet before he can spill some major tea. Let's be real. Over the years, Diddy hasn't just built an empire. He's collected secrets that could absolutely destroy some of the biggest names in entertainment. We're talking career-ending, life-ruining kind of information. And some insiders are whispering that his incredible success wasn't just about his business smarts. It was about knowing where all the bodies were buried, if you catch my drift. released.
It sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at
Okay.
a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
And speaking of secrets, we need to talk about these infamous blackmail tapes that everyone in Hollywood is whispering about. These aren't just any old recordings. They're apparently from Diddy's ultra-exclusive parties where the biggest names in entertainment and business let loose in ways they never wanted the public to see. Sources say Diddy documented everything meticulously, keeping these recordings as his personal insurance policy. Can you imagine the panic these tapes are causing in certain circles? If even half of what people are saying about them is true, some of the most powerful people in the industry must be absolutely terrified right now.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there,
Here's something truly disturbing. Diddy is reportedly refusing to eat prison meals because he's terrified for his safety. Prison consultant Larry Levine dropped this bombshell, saying it's not just paranoia, it's survival. Levine raised this chilling possibility. What if somebody on the outside knew someone working in the prison? He said, suggesting they could slowly poison him over time. I know it sounds like something straight out of a thriller movie, but given the Metropolitan Detention Center's horrifying track record of violence, contraband, and staff misconduct, can you really blame him for being cautious?
understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on watch.
But the food situation might be the least of his worries. Sources close to the situation are saying Diddy's paranoia goes way deeper. He's apparently received threats from people outside the prison walls. And get this, these threats supposedly started right around the time the FBI began showing interest in those mysterious blackmail tapes. Coincidence? I think not. It's no wonder the poor man is constantly looking over his shoulder, even behind bars. The timing of all this is just too perfect to be random.
Some people do think that Diddy can help him, but this guy's going to be locked up forever. His case will probably take at least 3 years to litigate. He'll stay at MDC. There's rumors that he wants to go to Essex County Jail in New Jersey because he doesn't like MDC. He's a Marshall's inmate. There's no way they're going to transfer him back and forth, I don't know, several times a week.
And here's where things get even messier. Diddy's inner circle is crumbling. People who used to be ride or die are suddenly nowhere to be found. Sure, they're claiming they're just trying to protect themselves, but doesn't it make you wonder what they might know? Some of his former collaborators have started dropping these cryptic hints to the media about their experiences working with him. Are they getting ready to turn on him to save their own skin? Meanwhile, there's talk that Diddy's been keeping detailed records of everything, and I mean everything, that's happened in his business dealings and personal life. It's like his own personal doomsday book, ready to take everyone down with him if they try to betray him.
That's it. You know, if it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
The legal drama surrounding Diddy just keeps getting more intense by the day. The charges against him are serious enough to make anyone's head spin, but some people are convinced there's something even more sinister at play. Here's the thing. Federal prosecutors keep revising their indictment, piling on new allegations and victims like there's no tomorrow. Now, maybe this is just normal legal strategy, but something feels off about the whole thing. It really makes you wonder, who's pulling the strings behind the scenes? Who benefits from keeping Diddy locked away for as long as possible?
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs.
Okay.
First, of course, he could face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
And let's talk about what might really be happening here, because this conspiracy theory is absolutely wild. Some people are saying this whole legal nightmare isn't just about bringing Diddy down, it's about dismantling his entire empire. Think about it. Over 30 years, Diddy built this incredible portfolio: Bad Boy Records, fashion lines, spirits, media ventures, you name it, he owned it. He wasn't just successful, he was a threat to the old guard who couldn't stand seeing someone like him have so much power. Now, with him behind bars, these vultures are probably circling, ready to swoop in and pick his empire clean. I know it sounds crazy, but honey, crazier things have happened in this industry.
Target. Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is fighting tooth and nail to save him. His lead attorney, Mark Aguilo, is insisting that this whole case is nothing but a witch hunt designed to destroy Diddy's legacy. And can we talk about how impossible it is to prepare a defense when you're stuck in what's basically a concrete box? The Metropolitan Detention Center is absolutely brutal. It's no place for anyone, let alone someone trying to fight for their freedom. With his trial coming up in May, the clock is ticking and everyone's wondering, can Diddy pull off one last miracle? The whole situation really makes you think about power and influence in today's world. Has Diddy's own success become his biggest enemy? Is the system finally catching up to him, or is he being sacrificed to protect even bigger fish? The truth probably lies somewhere in between, but one thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and it's going to keep everyone on the edge of their seats.
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
The stakes couldn't possibly be higher for Diddy right now as he sits behind those prison walls, fighting not just for his freedom, but for everything he's built over the last 3 decades. Every single day brings new questions, new theories, and new whispers about what's really happening behind the scenes. And while the conspiracy theories keep spreading like wildfire, we're all left wondering just how much of the truth will ever come to light. The most chilling question of all, and I mean truly chilling, is whether Diddy will even get the chance to tell his side of the story. Looking at how dramatically his health has declined, how the pressure keeps mounting, and how the forces against him seem to grow stronger by the day, it's impossible not to worry about what might happen next. You know what makes this whole situation even more fascinating? It's not just about Diddy anymore. It's become this massive mirror reflecting everything that's wrong with power, fame, and justice in our world today. Every new development in this case peels back another layer of the entertainment industry's dark underbelly, revealing secrets that some people would literally kill to keep hidden. Think about it. Here's a man who once seemed untouchable, who built an empire from nothing, who had presidents and royalty on speed dial, and now he's fighting for his very survival in one of America's most notorious prisons. If that doesn't send chills down your spine, I don't know what will. We're going to keep our eyes glued to this story because, trust me, there's so much more yet to come. The questions keep piling up. Who's really behind Diddy's downfall? What's on those mysterious tapes? And most importantly, will justice actually be served, or is this all part of some bigger game we can't even begin to understand? So stay tuned, keep watching, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe for all the latest updates on this absolutely explosive story, because believe me when I tell you, this saga is far from over and the best or worst might be yet to come. Until next time, keep those theories coming, because in this story, literally anything seems possible. Anything seems possible. Anything.